Blake Lively created a toxic work environment at her company.
Blake Lively's company is being exposed.
Blake Lively is under fire after a new report accused her of fostering a toxic work environment at her now-defunct lifestyle brand, Preserve.
As Blake Lively continues to make headlines for her feud with Justin Baldoni, a troubling chapter from her own professional past has resurfaced. 6 former staffers from Blake's now-defunct lifestyle company, Preserve, have come forward with serious allegations about the toxic and dysfunctional work environment they claim existed behind the scenes.
6 former employees of Blake Lively's now-defunct lifestyle brand, Preserve, are speaking out about what they describe as a toxic, unprofessional work environment.
In an exposé published by Daily Mail, the former employees painted a picture of chaos, emotional strain, and disorganization at Preserve, a company Blake launched in 2014 with the intent to sell artisanal home goods and promote a curated lifestyle. However, the venture folded within a year. Staffer comes out about Blake Lively's business. It's a disaster. One staffer described the business as an absolute disaster, alleging that the current workplace allegations Blake is making against Justin are deeply ironic. It was one of the most insane, toxic, emotionally draining, and disorganized environments you could imagine, they said. Another ex-employee claimed Blake's attitude contributed to the toxicity, stating, "The impression she left on me after I worked at Preserve is that she doesn't care. It was a really toxic work environment." Blake Lively and her brother were unqualified for their own company. A particularly telling anecdote involved a planned photo shoot at Blake's home in Westchester County, New York. Staffers and a model reportedly arrived expecting a polished production, only for Blake to emerge looking like an absolute mess. The lack of professionalism extended beyond Blake, according to sources. Her brother, Eric Lively, who was hired as the company's creative director, was also criticized for being unqualified and careless in his role. "Eric was completely unqualified to run a company," said one former staffer. "There were a lot of ways in which the employment was unprofessional." Another added, "He was acting the part of creative director, but wasn't doing the work." The company's Manhattan headquarters, a cramped studio apartment, was reportedly so bare that employees had to sit on the floor for months due to the absence of furniture or desks. Blake Lively's company sent paychecks late. Compounding the discomfort was the financial instability. 2 staffers claimed that delayed paychecks left them unable to afford even basic necessities, like subway fare. Others alleged they were made to work excessive hours under poor conditions. Some reportedly received settlements of up to $300,000 after suggesting taking action for their treatment, though the internal crisis never made headlines at the time. Blake Lively's publicist made sure the media didn't hear anything about her business. The silence surrounding Preserve's internal dysfunction, according to the sources, was due in large part to Blake's powerful publicist, Leslie Sloan. Leslie Sloan shut it down, one staffer said, implying that negative press was carefully managed and buried. They buried every single thing from that company. In a 2023 interview with Entrepreneur, Blake briefly addressed the failure of Preserve, admitting she had made mistakes. "I poured everything I had into that company," she said, while also referencing vague, behind-the-scenes stuff that we just couldn't figure out. Notably, she did not elaborate on the specific mismanagement or toxic conditions now being alleged by her former employees. Blake Lively's suit with Justin Baldoni is still popping off. Blake is currently engaged in a high-profile feud with Justin Baldoni, alleging more than a few things. Justin, in turn, has countersued Blake, her husband Ryan Reynolds, and Sloan, accusing them of launching a coordinated mission against his character. The case is expected to go to trial in March 2026. The suit has already ignited intense media interest, and the claims from Preserve's former staffers may further complicate public perception of Blake. Critics are pointing out the apparent contradiction in Blake's current posture as a workplace misconduct whistleblower, juxtaposed against the disturbing reports of how her own company allegedly treated its employees.